Hi guys, and welcome back to the ZEZE MILLS Show. It's been so long. I've missed you guys so much. Quarantine, Corona has taken over the world. Listen guys, I don't want to see any comments about everyone is practicing social distancing here. I'm 2 meters away, 2 meters away, 2 meters away, 2 meters away. Everyone is 2 meters away, so just save yourself, okay? But we have a very special guest, okay? I tweeted, I said, my next interview is gonna be lit, and I've been waiting for this one. We have the one and only Pastor Tobi.
Hi.
Hello.
It's good to be here, man.
Thanks for coming.
Thanks for being beautiful.
Oh, thank you. You know, I'm quite surprised that you decided to come on the ZEZE MILLS Show. Only because I would think you would probably stay away from my line of questioning and maybe the questions that I'm going to ask, or the fact that I'm quite, hard-hitting. So I would think you would stay away from that.
We wish we had people like you to question us. What we've had before is minor wannabe reporters. They can't face real discussion. I've always looked for real discussion. So
are you going to be open to having a real discussion? Be as transparent, I guess, as you would like to be?
As I've always been.
Okay, fair enough. So how are you, first of all?
I'm good, apart from COVID-19. But otherwise, I'm good. I'm happy. I've been at home. This is my first time out of the house for about 2 months, you know.
Oh, I feel special now.
2 months.
What do you actually think about COVID? There's a lot of conspiracies around it. Oh, it's this, it's that, it's not real. As somebody that's a man of God, because I see a lot of it, my friends, I used to go to church back in the day. I don't really go that much anymore.
Why?
I knew I put myself in that because I always know that.
Yeah, of course, a pastor must ask you why you don't go to church.
Anytime I speak to anyone that's a Christian and I say, well, like a practicing Christian, and I say I don't go to church anymore, they're like, why? What happened? I think I grew out of it in a weird way. I think I grew out of it. I think I started to question a lot of things about Christianity, certain things to do with pastors, lifestyles, all that stuff. It didn't make sense to me. So I just kind of took a step back. I also think that people in church are quite judgmental.
Right.
And also I went...
More than Twitter?
That's actually a good comparison, actually. That's actually quite a good comparison. Twitter is it's a harsh world out there. But I think Twitter is very judgmental. That's actually quite a good one. I just found it quite judgmental. And also then I went to a predominantly Nigerian church, and I found that culture and religion sometimes intertwined, and it used to confuse me a little bit. So I kind of took a step back.
I'm a pastor's kid. I grew up in church, so all my life, the only religion I've always known is just Christianity. But I thought I grew out of it when I got to uni, and I left church for 9 years. I was just on weed, I was on drugs for 9 years.
Oh, wow.
Read all the books about all the religion. I wanted to find my own way, and I came back to this by my own discovery. But I think that's topic for another day.
Why did you decide to come back?
Because I found the truth about the questions I've always asked. I had questions. I saw my dad's life, I saw people's lives, and I felt this is not adding up to what we hear in church. So I asked all those questions, and then one of my answers was, in this world, you never have answers to all things. But that was one of the answers I found. Was
there any part of you that came back because you thought there was money to be made from the church?
You don't make money in church.
Do you not?
Church and money.
Well, some people will look at your lifestyle and think that you're doing very well from church.
Exactly.
Even if it's from other things, but your perception is that your money or your wealth comes from trusting in God.
Exactly. So that's the problem with our community majorly. You can't just assume something. You find out. And so for me, I think I'm more broke because of church.
Yeah, I did see that in an interview. You said that you was a millionaire, and then when you came to start in your church, you was not a millionaire because you put your own money into it?
Because the most stingy pastor is better than the best businessman. You have to give, either you like it or not. How do you see people in your church who have needs? And don't forget that when a church starts from 4 or 5 people, 10 people, most people there are needy. They need stuff. They need everyday sustenance. And so you start from there, you start building, then maybe eventually you get people who have, they give to you. But I can guarantee you, because I know pastors, 80% of what is given to you goes back to the people who are needy in the church. And that's the fact.
Yeah, but then if you say that the people in your church, how can you as a pastor see people in the church needing and not give? Yeah. But then not everybody in your church is walking around with an AP, or not everyone is walking around with a nice car, or walking around with Givenchy top, bottom and things. So then how does that work?
You're going to wear clothes someday, and most times it will be given. So don't forget, let me talk about myself so that I don't keep defending pastors. I had a lifestyle before becoming a pastor. Right. I read law. In fact, well, my friends who were, because I didn't come from a poor family either, well, my friends who we grew up together would look at, for me now, in whatever country they are in, is they're just gonna laugh at me, like, so you're not out there making money, you're running after stubborn kids. For them, it's just like stubborn kids who carry knife and all that. There's this business, you're not, what are you doing with, for them, it's still, what am I doing with my life? So I had a lifestyle. I had what I would wear, what I would have, even if I wasn't a pastor. So being a pastor don't make that happen. What makes that happen is me as a person. That's my lifestyle.
So you have other businesses apart from being a pastor?
A lot of businesses.
And how do they work hand in hand though? Because my assumption of being a pastor is that you pretty much dedicate your whole life to the church and to the people in the church. Yeah. And I think this is one of the issues that I have. I think that Christians allow people to easily target them. Like you'll never see, well, not that I've ever seen, I've never seen like an imam go on the gram and talk about wearing Fendi. And even if they are wearing Fendi, they're not going to publicize it because they just know that it doesn't fit. Because it doesn't fit, like the Bible clearly says that you shouldn't like outwardly adorn yourself with worldly goods and apparel.
I'm not sure the Bible says that.
It does.
It doesn't.
100% it says that. And
I think you're quoting from Peter. No. I think you're trying to talk about Peter. And if you read that scripture very well, Peter was very clear. He was speaking to the women, and then he said that they should not just do that. Now, if that's not a person's...
But there's loads of Bible scriptures that say you shouldn't, like, you shouldn't indulge. No, yeah, but of course you can wear clothes. Like, I'm wearing clothes now, but there's a difference between indulging in clothes.
What is indulging?
Anybody that comes on social media and, like, shows their drip, as you like to call it, from head to toe in Fendi, that is indulging in worldly goods.
That's not indulging.
So what would you call it then?
I can only wear what I've got. That's what I've got.
Yeah, but there's people...
So don't make me wear what I haven't got just because. Let me tell you what a normal, typical pastor, or I don't want to talk of imam, will tell me to do. They say things like, we probably have more things than you, but we hide ours because people are jealous, people are envious. I said, no, that's not me. For me, I just wear what I need to wear. I'm not a politician, so I'm not trying to make people like me. Most times, it's not like, oh, let me go wear this and let me show it on social media.
Yeah, but that's what you did last week, though.
I was actually recording for a charity.
Right.
I was recording for a charity that feeds people and all that. They wanted me to talk and appeal to people to raise money and stuff like that. So we were doing that. Then in the midst of that, I started playing around. So that's me playing. The only thing is, someone gets it on camera and says, let's post this, it will be fun. I'm like, oh, whatever, you and your friends on social media. So that's not me indulging in anything. That's my life. That's how I live. And I'm not going to change that for being a pastor. That would be pretending.
Me personally, I just don't think that that's what a pastor should do.
A pastor should be a normal human being.
Yeah, but a pastor should also, I believe, lead, right? Yeah. And I don't feel that if you know people in your church are maybe struggling or people around you and people are going to see that, I just don't think that it's tasteful to do that either. Especially definitely, we touched on it at the beginning, during COVID, and so many people are losing their jobs and stuff like that. You as a pastor flaunting that, do you not think that's a little bit distasteful?
No, I think we should do everything to help people that are struggling, and there's no single person, including musicians that they like, that have done as much as we've done for people in COVID all over the world, from giving food to the NHS to... So sometimes, in the midst of that, people have to have a laugh, and that's what that is. Okay. So again, like I said, I was recording for a charity, and I felt, I was playing around. Someone cut down camera and put it out. Imagine this, ZEZE. Imagine that we've put out videos and talks about let's help people. This is what we're doing to help people. How many views? Maybe 5. I mean, maybe like 50.
Well, yeah.
Maybe like 50. But then you say Fendi, and everybody is on it. For me, that's just observing human thought. For me, it's nothing. I don't care if a person wears a Fendi or a Givenchy, like I like to call it. It doesn't really matter to me. So to address that, people are struggling. Now, my conscience has to tell me, in comparison to everything around me and to the best of my ability, are you helping people? If the answer is yes, then I'm not going to pretend. I'm going to be me. I'm going to wear what I have to wear.
Do you feel like that your church has been unfairly targeted? Do you think it's got anything to do with race?
110%.
Do you feel like if you was a white pastor, that you would not be under so much scrutiny?
110%. It's obvious. It's facts. There's no two ways about it. Not just if I was a white. Of course, if I'm a white person, that would be different. It will be a different story for them. And then if I was practicing another religion, and I'm not going to mention right now, and I've said this to the mayor of this city, if this was another religion, you can get 1,000 young people that Scotland Yard told me, guy, you have everybody wants to talk to.
Right.
If that was another religion, I'll have more money, whatever that means, and I'll have more attention. But it's Christianity, and hey, this is a black guy.
Do you feel like, I mean, I've said this, I feel like black people are actually quite harsh on you. I think black people, we're very quick to judge each other. Do you get what I mean? And there's been loads of stuff that's happened with the Church of England that no one talks about. There's a lot of stuff that's gone on, paedophilia, all that stuff, and we never really talk about that amongst the black community. A lot of us have grown up in the Church of England or gone to schools like that. No one talks about that. And my thing is, I don't actually agree with everything you do, but my thing is that I think everybody should have the same energy. If you're gonna come for you, Pastor Tobi, then you should come for the Pope and all his clan and all these other people, and not just the Pope. Allegedly, his net worth is like 80 million or something ridiculous
including
like that.
Betting companies, by the way.
Exactly. So all of this stuff, no one kind of talks about that. So why do you think it is that we as black people, we're very quick to jump on someone like yourself?
Number one, we don't have a community.
Right.
Black people don't have a community. The white, I can tell you 1, 2, 3 communities they have. Asians have community. Black people don't have no community. The only community that I see this generation having is social media. When I see them doing all this talk that they do, I don't blame them because this is a deprived community.
Right.
Success or people that are seemingly succeeding has not been at a close range to them. So it is only right, well, not right, it's not right, it's not right. So I take that back. It is only expected that if a community grows out of your community and is like, oh, that was my friend, how dare she thinks that she's more successful than me now? You go and vent out if you don't have a clean heart. I'm still looking for any government establishment in this country that can say Spac Nation did this wrong and that wrong. So
because you were under investigation, weren't you, Spac Nation? You was under investigation. Then they haven't really, there wasn't enough evidence, I'm guessing, and they've had to close the case. However, individuals in your church are being investigated because of all this whole fraud thing that blew up over the last, I would say, 8 months to a year. Now, a lot of times you said you are not really aware, or you're not aware, you can't be aware of everything that's going on in your church. But then you, as the pastor, as the leader, is that not your job to make sure you know what is going on with your pastors and your ministers? Yeah, but then
300 people.
But then that's another thing. I've also noticed that you ordain a lot of young people to become pastors. What's the actual protocol? Because for me, I think that's weird. I think it's weird that young people can literally come into the church and within like 3 to 4 months they're pastors? How does that work?
I don't think there's any case like that, by the way.
It's a quick process though.
Yeah, of course. Let me start with the investigation. Well, let me tell you the fact about the under investigation thing. Number one, people started shouting. Some people on social media started making noise. Spac is this, Spac is that. There was no investigation going on. Then there was one main pretender, MP, main pretender, who then decided that I don't speak about young people, I don't speak about black community, even though my community is very infested with drug dealers and stuff, but it doesn't speak about young people. But hey, here's an opportunity. Spac Nation is there. I'm going to be the speaker for black community. So this main pretender takes the case and start telling the authorities this is happening and all that. Now, in the parliament, the government only said they are under investigation because it's only right, and politicians will always be politicians. It's only right for them to say, okay, we'll investigate this thing. Let me tell you the real verdict from Scotland Yard. Ridiculous. Meaning all the case they brought to them, their verdict was ridiculous. That's all. We
can't deny that a lot of people came forward and said that there were leaders in the church that would force them to take out loans, to do all this stuff about universal credit, stuff about all these other things, and the loans for you to do stuff, for your pastors to do stuff. So are you saying that all those people that have come forward are lying?
It's not just lying. It's ridiculous to say that you can take truth and pervert it. And when you pervert truth to people who are already suspicious.
So what would the truth be then?
The truth would be two people can do a deal together, meaning they can sit down and say, let's take out a loan and do X, Y, Z. How is that the responsibility of the church? You've got to remember this. The church, as far as Charity Commission is concerned, when Charity Commission asks for a list of donors, a church must give them that, which we have. 10 years list of donors Spac Nation has. So the first thing I would do is, someone says, somebody forced me to do X, Y, Z. The question would be, please explain force. Because how did that happen? Because we even want to know. We want to deal with such leaders. Then you find out at the end of the day, on the ones we've heard, no, there was no force. They were dating each other. How is this? I have cases like that. Then we still said, look, do not take loan for anybody, and I'm saying it out again now. Don't take loan for nobody. Why would you want to do that? What
so
is
the
that for?
That has nothing to, these are not like, it's not coming from a higher place that these guys must manipulate or groom, because these are the words that are being out there, manipulating. Even if they was dating, maybe that is a form of grooming, because that's what happens as well. People pretend that they like people. Is that then something to do with how you are ordaining people?
No.
So certain people should not be ordained.
So I'll come to that. So imagine someone calls me and say, and I'm the most accessible pastor. Everybody's got my phone number, so you can't say, oh, I tried to reach them to complain and it didn't happen. So how do you monitor 2,000 people? By being accessible. I'm accessible. One case that came to me, this girl comes and say, oh, there's a guy in your church, he took some money off me, blah, blah, blah. So I said, okay, who is it? A certain Jonathan, he says, for example. Mm-hmm. And then I found Jonathan. Do you know this person? Look for someone to call them. Then Jonathan says, oh, I'm no longer in your church. I say, okay, but this person said this. Oh, she was my girlfriend. People will prey on people if they have chance to. That's normal. So, but what we can do is to put measures in place to make it difficult for people to do that. Yes. And what measures did we put in place? Two things. Number one, you have to announce publicly, don't take loan for nobody, make sure nobody takes from you. If you want to do a business deal with someone, that's between two of you. It's got nothing to do with the church. That's number one. Number two, you set up an independent complaint commission, meaning it is not pastors in the church, it is picked from everywhere else, people that don't have loyalty to me. So complain to them. Guess what? Not one person. So how is Twitter going to resolve these issues? Because we've done all that we can do.
So then what about the ordaining of pastors and stuff? Because I see that a lot, like someone could have just come off road like a year ago and all of a sudden they're a pastor. And I don't understand, because to me it's like I would not employ somebody that's just come out of jail for money laundering to manage my bank. Like I wouldn't do it. So then people obviously can change their life around, but I think it's, like, I remember when I used to go to church, for me to even get baptized, I had to go through like this baptismal school, and then I had to have an interview and all these questions about, are you ready to be baptized? The first time I failed, I was heartbroken. And then I went home and I revised again, and that was just for me to be baptized. So I don't understand how the process, how people are, for 2,000 people to be ordained as ministers and pastors.
2,000 people are not ordained, but I get you.
But are they ministers and pastors?
No.
So how many ministers and pastors
about
do you have?
300.
Okay, that's still.
Yeah, that's
okay.
a lot.
So how does that work?
That's our model. That's our model. Now, every church or every model must respond to the community need. If I'm in a community, I have to look at what is the issue here? What is the problem? What I've got is they need leaders within their community. It comes with authority. What we don't do is, if a minister is ordained, they don't have authority like another church. We will have ordained ministers with this portfolio, this portfolio. No, for us is, you are a minister. Minister means serve. It means to serve. You go back and serve that community. But if you then turn around and say, oh, give me money because I'm a minister in church, already, if that person really comes to church, they know you don't have the power to do that. So you don't have the portfolio. What you have is the responsibility. And the responsibility is, it takes a like person to get another like person. What we wanted to do is inspire someone to believe that they can become ministers. And I'll tell you what, out of 300, even through all our crises, maybe out of 300, maybe they say, 2 or 3 people have done X, Y, Z. And I sat down with them personally and said, did you do this thing? Is it true? And on some occasions, maybe one occasion said, yeah, I wanted to do this. Why do you want to do that? If we ordain 300 and 3 are faulty, Jesus only had 12. So it's not numbers. Jesus only had 12. And one of them was still a thief.
True.
Did he not ordain Judas?
Of course, but still, I feel like it's just, for me personally, I think 300 ordained young people, that I get young people can be like on fire for Christ and everything. Yeah. I just think they're not well versed in the world yet to have responsibility or or for people to be coming to them for certain advice or anything like that.
Rather than what we feel. I feel a lot of things as well. I can feel it's not right. Let's talk about what it produces, because
maybe it's produced a lot of, the fact that there's so much young people, it's produced a lot of drama around your church.
Drama is fine.
Drama is
fine.
Not
what is not fine?
Well, not for you. It hasn't been good drama. You've been all over the news for bad,
Has a pastor been on your platform before?
No.
Has a pastor ever been invited to lead something in the United Nations before? I've been invited. I'm going to be working for UN from next month. Listen, everything that is new has to generate controversy. Then we will look inwardly, and then we would say, okay, let us adjust this. Let's do this better. But the result that I'm talking about is, you see that one minister that you might think, oh, it's not right. He saved lives because he's a minister. It's about lives. It's about people dying on our streets. So we can't just say what we feel. Again, I'm not a politician. So it doesn't matter if 10,000 people say Spac is not this, Spac is this, Spac is that. For me, it's like, I will take stocks at the end of the month and say, how many lives were we able to save? How many people have got? It is those lives that matter to me, not popularity. Leave that to the Conservative or Labour Party.
So, are you married?
Yes, I'm married.
Oh, you are? A lot of people don't think that you're married.
Let them keep searching.
So, how long have you been married for?
About 8 years or so.
Oh, it's like a seasoned marriage then.
I'm still trying to get married.
What?
I'm just trying to confuse you.
Oh, right. It's just like, what? Oh, so you've been married for 8 years.
About.
And it's nice? Do you like marriage?
It's good. I'm peaceful.
But you decide to keep your wife quiet? Not keep her quiet, but like you keep her out of the public.
Again, everything that has to do with me and Spac, I just leave things the way they are, meaning that I let people be what they are. So if he wants to be preach out, I would have said, great, but that's not who she is. So.
What does she feel about all of this that goes on? Does she worry about you? Does she?
The truth is, behind closed doors, meaning outside of noise of strangers, by the way. And Outside of that, we're peaceful. So there's nothing to really worry about. You know, real worry is if you sit down and say there's something to worry about. But I'll never worry about people who don't inspire me. As in, I don't read those guys on Twitter and Instagram. I don't read their stuff because you have to inspire me in order to correct me. But if you don't inspire me, why am I listening to you?
Do you have children?
I won't answer that, but
okay, fair enough.
Good.
Fair enough. You look quite young in person.
I'm going to be 40 this year.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah.
Okay, and what are you going to do?
I wonder why I look older. Maybe because it's not for me.
Because you actually got quite nice skin. Well, not quite nice. It's like very smooth.
Yeah?
Have you got makeup on, like camera makeup on?
That's money. Money does that.
Oh.
I'm just joking. That will annoy people. Hey, pastor says money does that. I'm going to drink and sit. Crazy.
Well, that's what you might have some rich people's skincare.
Funny enough, my cream is just simple. It's a simple deal. So I don't use. So it's just a simple thing. I don't use.
And you're wearing what are you wearing today?
It's so eventually I thought, let me be humble. I don't want to make too much noise.
Just some more detail down the middle there.
It's quite detailed, right?
And with the nice watch on as well. What watch have you got today?
I'm an AP person.
He's an AP person.
Yeah.
Google how much AP persons have to be.
Oh my God. Can I tell you how this works?
Are you going to tell me it was a gift from someone?
Exactly.
No.
On my way here.
What? Someone gave you an AP on the way here?
That's what I'm saying to you.
No way.
That's what I'm saying to you. So imagine my life.
On the way here, somebody called you and said,
is what
Pastor Tobi, I have AP for you.
Cross my heart. That's the truth.
Okay, whoever your friends are, let's all get a dibs in because my friends don't tell me they've got APs for me.
It depends. So imagine I've been to a place and I bought a wristwatch 5 times and they keep wondering, why are you buying the same? I said, because people keep taking it from me. Since
we're talking about the drip, okay, I'm in two minds about this whole drippy thing. I'm not going to lie to you. I did say, I've spoken on my show before, and I've said, if I had a little brother, would I prefer them to go to Spac Nation or would I prefer them to go to Cunch? I prefer them to go to Spac Nation. And a lot of people are like, yeah, but this is not what the church should be doing. It's encouraging young people to do this.
A lot of people have an idea of what others should be doing.
It's encouraging this. So my thing is, if I don't have drippy, can I still come to the front and do the drippy dance?
The closest people to me don't wear none of these things.
So then it makes...
They don't, because it's not their thing. Can you imagine?
Yeah, but it's young people's thing though. Like, and
exactly.
But then what if the young person cannot afford drippy and then they start doing bad things so that they can afford a drippy so that they can come to the front to enjoy the drippy dance?
It will not happen in Spac Nation as long as they actually came for help.
Yeah, but you wouldn't know that. You don't know what a young person's doing on Monday to Saturday. And they might feel the peer pressure. When I see the videos of you doing the drippy...
That's what I'm saying. They can't feel the peer pressure. Let me tell you, most young persons that have come into Spac Nation, some of them might feel like they are attracted because of the drippy. But most of them, getting into the system, they don't care about the drip thing anymore. These are the things I've seen.
So is this how you kind of reel them in? Yeah. Is this kind of like your net? You catch people with the drip and then when they come in and see, it's like, oh, this is...
It will be the last thing you'll care about because you're going to see the real life. You know, to be honest with you, we really don't show... I don't show off, you know. If we really want to show off...
How can you say you don't show off? You told everyone last week that you was offending people with Fendi.
Hi. You know, I realize you guys actually like vanity. You love it. You press those views like, okay, so I'm angry now. It's Fendi week. Yeah? It's going to be Fendi. Offending people with Fendi. Come on, man. I'm just joking, man. Knock that off, man. Stop getting angry, man. Just join the gang. What's wrong with you?
Pastor Tobi, you told everyone last week that you was offending people with Fendi.
ZEZE, do you want to hear the truth?
It was a hashtag on Twitter.
If I really want to show off, it's not going to be clothes. I'm going to be 40. I'm not going to show off with clothes. I'll show off with real substance. Yeah, that will really... So that's not show off.
What is that then?
Playing.
What's that?
That's me playing. That's what I would do with my kids or whatever. But I'll play with them.
You know that when you say certain things, it's going to rile up the internet, as Wiley would say.
I don't know why they're...
You know that people are going to see that. That video went viral. And then you came back and you said, you people... You love it. And then you did another video.
Exactly, because the first one, for example, do you know how shocked I am when I'm told something has gone viral? I'm just thinking, well, I'm just playing.
I don't believe it.
I don't like internet. I don't like it.
How could you seem like
Check the number of followers I've got, 10, 20. I've not paid attention to it. So what has been happening is my normal play, my normal PT play self is just being recorded and put out there. So when they said like the Fendi word, I'm surprised that people say offending with, I'm like, whoa.
Did you come up with that yourself?
Yeah, on the spot. I'm just playing.
Maybe you should try to do rapping.
I'll make more money with that, right?
Probably not.
And people will be happier because if a rapper sends one person to school, the whole country shouts about it. I've sent more than 10 to Oxford, to Harvard, and it's out there, but nobody will hear that. It's unbelievable.
Earlier you mentioned that you have other businesses. What are your other businesses?
I'll just give you a vague because I don't want reporters going to dig in the Spac Nation. But I don't think there's actually anything we don't do. So I've seen people trying to abuse Spac Nation before, and we've seen their product, our product in their house. So it's laughable. Those are the things that make me laugh, like, oh, you just don't know. We are the major investor in that. We're into investment. I'll just look for companies that I can predict will kick off, companies that I know. So when everybody despises it, we put money there and it grows.
So you don't use Spac Nation to clean your money?
I wish I had money to clean.
Because that is another thing that is, everyone seems to think that you use Spac Nation to clean whatever sort of
Black community can think anything because these are people who don't read. They don't like reading. Black community hates book. They've said if you don't want anybody around you to succeed, put it in a book. Black people don't read it. They don't read anything. They go from suspicion to judgment. Whereas in this community, you go through trials. So when you talk about for an intelligent person, and that's why I don't do interviews, because it's not intelligent. How do you respond to people on Twitter? It's not intelligent conversation. So do you understand what United Kingdom is? Do you understand money movement in this country? And their uncles, most black people's uncle, most black people have family members in prison. Have you ever seen any of your criminal uncles or fraudsters live boldly in front of people, then leave from there, go to Scotland Yard and have meeting with Scotland Yard? Is that the way fraudsters live, like in front of people? I live in front of people. People know my house. I live with 16 people.
You live with 16 people?
16 people. And I've been doing that since I had just one bedroom flat. 16 people in my house. If you see my dinner table, it's like a whole conference.
Do you enjoy having that much people
around you? It's not about enjoyment. You sacrifice for a community. Otherwise, we're going to repeat.
Would you call those 16 people your disciples?
No, they are people. They are grown-up people. They live their lives.
So, like, do you just enjoy the family?
You can never enjoy 16 people living in your house. You see a need, you meet the need. That's what is called pastoring. And
then, so Spac Nation, do they have all these other houses? Because that was another thing that was going around, that there was all these houses, trap houses, people were referring them to as, and that is where a lot of this activity was going on in the house and all these other things. And are there houses that you allow people to live in, or is this all rumors as well?
So people lived with me. Yeah. So as they grow, maybe they start their own business, they start their own house, and then others can live with them by choice. The best thing that has happened, and I say this is why the other community is smarter than the black community. The best thing that has happened in these, that I know in our community, is what we call trap houses. The number of lives is saved. So you can imagine this. At the height of all the rumors, trap houses, this, I got picked up by some authority, I won't mention the name, but major government. They picked me up and said, sit down, we need the template for your trap houses right now. So I said, oh, wouldn't you even care that there's rumor? And they use the word, we don't give just give us. How does this work? Because the statistics are there. Our community don't look at statistics. And people take advantage of our community because they know that if, let's take Huffington Post, for example, or no, not Huffington, BBC. BBC is dying. It's got a problem with the government. It doesn't want conservative to win because Boris, but it sits down and thinks, oh, we can become relevant to the black community. What's going on there? Spac Nation is there. If we do a documentary, BBC, the documentary they did before the negative one, BBC had everything about our finances. There's no church that ever does that. They were asking questions. I said, this is it. Go through it. They looked at it. They were shocked. Guess what? They want to do their other show now, and not once did they contact us. They didn't come, they didn't ask any question because they understand, put it to the black community, they like negativity. So that's all.
If all of this is almost like a defamation of character, why don't you take any sort of legal action against all these people that are putting out all these wrongful, well, you saying that are wrongful things out about you in Spac Nation? Why don't you take it further?
Who will benefit? The white community.
Well, maybe you, because I think that, as you're saying, probably most of the people that watch this are not going to know that you sent people to Oxford or Cambridge. No one's going to know that because, like you said, all we get fed on social media or gets pushed forward is the negative stuff about Spac Nation. So why wouldn't you just shut all of this down and be like, we've had enough of all this defamation and we're going to take this further?
I was taken to the best lawyer in the city that does that, and it's all white people. White. They are the best that can take that kind of a case up. He bills me 5K. And I'm looking at that 5K, I'm saying, I'll use this to send another kid to uni. I don't need to be looked at as nice within a community that has no benefit to give me. The black community will not add anything to me. All they can do is to say, nice guy. So I'm going to take that and say, call me whatever names you want, but others build houses, I build people. My work will speak for me eventually. So
do you dislike black people?
I don't dislike them. I tell them the truth. This is truth. We have not built a community, CEZE. We didn't build a community. Asians built a community. We specialize in negativity. If there is anything called tearing people down, you find black people there. They're just going to make sure they do it. So why do their footballers and actors move away from them once they break through? Because they've got to be careful of the rats and the snakes. These guys have been deprived of success. They pull each other down. Tell me what in UK, tell me what they've built.
So what do you think is going to break that cycle for black people not to tear each other down?
It's got to take someone like me that is stubborn enough to say, listen, guys, I don't care what you think. I'm going to keep working. Let me tell you, in London today, in United Kingdom today, Spac Nation members are the toppest in city work. When you're talking about real people that are with their CEOs or CFOs. When they say, oh, it's a church that ex-gang member goes to, yeah, that's fine. That's the narrative BBC picked when they came. Media will only pick what they want. But there are more than 40-45% that are top bankers and stuffs there. So I want to keep showing and making people like that. Eventually, it will take time. Eventually, the community will understand this is what Tobi is trying to do. I learned very well from the Nation of Islam. I understand how they tore it apart. I know these things. You're going to be criticized. You're going to be called names. But anyone that is bold enough, that is a reporter or journalist, just come there and speak to people by yourself without Pastor Tobi. Then you will see a vision. You will see what we're trying to do. So what will it take for that to be broken? And me, that just don't give a care about what others are saying. I have to weigh and say, if these people praise me, what's the benefit? Nothing. Nothing. Black people cannot add anything to you. They can't.
No, I don't. I think that. I think that's a wild statement to say that.
You right now, but we'll see.
I think it's a wild statement to say that black people cannot add anything to you.
Well, okay. Let me take that back. Most, not all.
You can't say that because your church is predominantly black.
Yeah,
and they are the ones that are pushing you forward and keeping you.
And even the ones talking the negative stuff, they are still good because they are still the one pushing me forward.
So why does everyone who leaves, like, what was that guy's name? TK? Wasn't he like your protege? He was underneath you, kind of.
I've never sat down to talk to PK ever, other than the time that he did a confession thing. So it's not. So
right. So why? Never. So why do you?
I don't want to talk about him because that would be too beneath me. But no. I can talk about the circumstance of.
Yeah. Why is it that people that normally leave Spac always end up saying something bad about it?
I think they will be in the best position to answer that. But I would tell you that the truth of the matter about life generally, from the people that I learned from, and I'm talking about real people that I've learned from, is most times when you leave a thing, you want to justify that, see, I told you, you're not looking for the building up of it, you're looking for the tearing down of it. So there are good people who will come to Spac who would have left, and you won't hear from them because they won't go on the internet to talk anything positive or negative. But you would hear from many that have left that have negative things to say, yeah, because they are active on the internet, and they should be asked the question, what are you trying to do? Internet what? People should go to a place, find out for themselves, and be the judge of it. It's simple.
Those people that the police are investigating at the moment, because that's what I've read.
Not one.
Two.
Not even one.
Because I know Spac has been, they said no, but then it said there had been individual cases that were being looked into.
You should ask the reporter, how do you report something that vague when you've been formally so precise? How? So this is...
So my thing is, what I want to know is anyone that has been accused of anything, have they been asked to step down, or what happens? They just
accused
continue?
Of what?
Well, the
by
people
the police or the people?
The people.
We've found out, we've sat with them and said, what is this situation?
But then it's their word against someone else's. That's not fair.
Exactly. So like, yeah, of course, like others.
Well, no, because if someone
before
comes
the reporter wrote.
Yeah, if someone comes forward and says, this is what happened, you ask the person, did this happen? They say no, and then you just let it go. That
no,
can't...
you just don't let it go. Did you hear me say about setting up independent commission? That's their job. Their job is ask the person that is accusing.
I'm talking about the ones before. Because you said that the stuff has happened, and he said, "Oh, we were together." So then, do you just let that go?
Said, what can you do? The person is not even in Spac Nation anymore. The accused is not even in Spac. What can you do? So what you can do is you set up an independent commission and say, look, if you have grievance, so that you may think, oh, if I go to Pastor Tobi, it may not really. Okay, there's an independent commission. So you that you're accusing, tell them, and they will invite the accused, and we'll talk about it. Then what we will do right away is, if there is substance there, you suspend the person or tell them to step down. And let me tell you, we've even gone further steps than that. Let me tell you, in Spac Nation, I don't have access to the monies they donate. Never had. I can't. The way we are structured, charity is just being hypocritical. When people are shouting, people will become political and say, yeah, we're investigating. We are so fortified that leaders cannot have access to money and decide what to do with it.
But then aren't pastors maybe who don't have your lifestyle, who don't have other businesses, aren't they usually paid
not one pastor
from the charity?
Never.
If it's the church? Then how do they make their money then?
They work. Every other person works or do their business. That's what we all do. The church don't pay a single penny. And what I'm saying to you now, I'm saying it publicly.
All the offering just goes back into the church?
It goes back majorly into the community and then into the church. Our rent per year is close to $1 million, CZ. So how much can young people give? It doesn't make sense. There's no single pastor that is paid. And again, you must realize that what I'm saying publicly, Charity Commission has records. We don't pay a pastor, including myself. We don't pay pastors. They work, they start businesses, we support their businesses, and that's how we live. And the reason for that is to inspire young people, you must show them what you do. Spac Nation has no secret. So by the time people are on the internet saying, oh, I want to show this, I want to expose this and that, you're not exposing anything because it's right there. It's like, you know all the pastor's house. Almost everybody in the nation knows where I live. I live among my people. Which other pastors say, oh, that's the mistake you made. We have things as well, but we hide from people. I can't hide. I can't be a pretender. I can't do it.
I mean, I think you're very well spoken and you're very well versed, and I feel unfortunately people have made up their mind about you already, and that's why people, because you said some things here, like some really good things here, that I'd probably be like, okay, cool, fair enough, I understand that. But I think I'm a little bit different from people. I can look at both sides. Do you understand what I'm saying? So a lot of people can't look at both sides. They just have their mindset on that, and this is it. So I think it's unfortunate that people, I hope that they listen, and they listen carefully to the interview, and they listen and they make up their own independent mind.
People within the black community?
No, I think that there are people in the black community that will listen to you and maybe understand what you're saying.
We already have them. That's what I'm saying. My mission in this country is complete. Let me tell you why. I wanted the best brain from that community. and I've got them. I still think there are people, and what simple definition of best brain? When you see something to question, you question it. You don't judge something when you have, you don't judge something on questions. You ask questions. So I think I already have the niche that I want, and I'm happy, I'm fulfilled.
So are you like, have you given up on black people?
Never. That's all I live for. But when I say black community, by the way, there is a majority out there that loves Spac Nation, but they are not going to be on the internet fighting and talking. Those are the class of people that I want. This country has the richest doctor is black in UK. Most black people won't even know that. You see these people, right? The first time they hear about Spac Nation, they want to talk to me and say, let's talk intellectual. Then their children and the people whose attention I need, I have it. That's it. So if you can't be bothered to ask questions and to know that something may be written, but let me ask about it, then I don't need you. I don't need it.
What's next for Pastor Tobi?
The world. I'm a global citizen now.
Are you?
I'm supposed to be in Nigeria by now. It's COVID that held me in, but I'm a global citizen. I think I'll be working with the United Nations. I've been invited to work with them. Oh, I shouldn't say United Nations, though. It's not legal. But, well, it is what it is.
And what would you be doing with them?
I'll be working with young people around Africa and North America. Just doing what we do with Spac Nation. Some of them love it. So for me, it's the world next. Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa, Jamaica, and things like that.
Why did you point at me when you said Jamaica? Do you think I'm Jamaican?
No, I'm just expressing myself.
No, I'm joking, I'm Jamaican.
Are you?
Yeah, how did you know? Did you just guess?
No, you just said it.
No, before, because you were Jamaican, and then you pointed at me.
No, that's my...
Oh, wow, okay, fair enough, okay. I've enjoyed talking to you. I do, like I said in the beginning, I do think there's some things that I'm a little bit like, I'm not too sure about how I feel.
That's the definition of greatness. Once you look at greatness and you can define everything and love everything right away, that's not greatness.
I think people just have a perception of what they think a pastor should be, and you do not fit that perception of what a pastor should be. And I think that is basically the roundabout summary of you as a pastor, because of what we've been told, of what, you know, 1 minute the Bible says you shouldn't be like this, then it's that. And then I think some people just find it, because, you know, I could say Bible scripture now, and I can guarantee you're probably going to find a Bible scripture that can rebuttal it and be like, well, actually, this bit says that. Do you get what I mean? So absolutely. I think that whatever all of us, especially as black people, have been brought up on what a pastor should be and what church is supposed to be, you and Spac Nation don't like fit that narrative. I mean, just things like the whole like balaclava thing and all that stuff, Well, guess what? When they get back to church, those of them that are still going to church, guess what their pastor will be wearing? Similitude of balaclava called face mask. No, that's not the same thing. Their pastor is going to have it on. You so, can't say that. We are just ahead of our time. We were just preparing. No, a balaclava is used for, it's linked to like illegal activity. What is drill music? Drill music, this community, this black community so-called, they love drill and they hate murderers or murdering. They don't want to die. But they hear those music and they're like, oh yeah, that's my superstar. Not pity should not be like that, but you're listening to their song. What I really want to say is, drill is an art. The reason why they wore balaclava is the completeness of the heart. It's a message, right? It's heart and culture. It is what it is. I mean, you know, you guys know how I feel about drill, so I can't even. I'm sorry if I've taught something, but I don't know how you feel about drill. I don't like drill. I think it's counterproductive for us as black people. Apart from hope dealers made me like drill because the message just has to be positive. That's what I'm saying. So do you basically take everything from what is quote unquote negative on the streets and then spin it and then use it in the church to get the young people? Exactly. So I don't like drill. My kind of music is very different. What type of music do you like? I like Fela Anikulapo Kuti, something that is revolutionary, something that's talking about. Yeah, I like the beats. I like the beat of Wizkid. That means he doesn't like Wizkid. He said he likes the beat. I like the beats, but I like music that talks about government, power, people rising up and stuff. Bob Marley, those kind of things. Get up, stand up for your right. Things like that. Preacher man, don't tell me. Hey. You know. So, but drill, I don't understand it, but
I realized a lot of young people listen to it. So I might feel, but hey, spin it, make it positive, don't condemn it, make it positive and make it work. What this community should have done with Spac Nation is, okay, things are not right there, right? Let's all come in, join hands and make it better. That's how to be.
Okay, so I've got a question about this because I always have a disagreement with my friend about this. Like when I used to go to church, they always used to get onto like people like Kirk Franklin for like using secular stuff and then doing it as gospel. Do you get what I mean? And making it all modern. What does the Bible actually say about that? Should you not use like worldly stuff and then bring it into the church? Is it wrong or how does this work?
The Bible is clear. The Bible says, therefore use unrighteous mammon. Jesus taught that. He said, I send you as sheep among the wolves. He said, therefore be as wise as the serpent, but harmless as dove. So my question is, be it music, be it whatever, is it harmful? If it's not harmful, be as wise as them. It's time that the church don't cage themselves.
But drill is harmful, so then why would you use drill in the church?
We change the lyrics. Music is about lyrics.
But the intention behind drill is not good.
I don't know the intention, I know the message. The message is what we hear, because you won't stop people from listening to drill. So create the same beat, but tell them about positive stuff. Because they listen to it. I can't just like what I like, because church is not about me, it's about the people.
Do you think that's why church is not appealing to young people, because it's outdated?
100%.
When I used to go to KICC, and I used to love going to KICC, because it was like all the young people used to get together. It was fun. It was, it was brilliant. I loved it. I used to go to like college and tell all my friends to come to church and school and everything like that. And that's because it was like it was modern. It was fun. It wasn't like my grand's church, which was really boring, and I would just fall asleep. Do you get what I mean? So, I mean, I think that's maybe why I kind of understand the concept behind Spac Nation and the drawing in of the young people, but like I said, some of the other stuff is a little bit hazy.
Church must be relevant. There will be other stuff that we also will outgrow. The next generation, Spac Nation, by the way, now has new pastors, lead pastors, so I'm not the lead pastor anymore. Things get better, organizations evolve and get better, but we must stay relevant.
Fair enough. We've come to the end. We've had quite a lengthy, long chat. Have you got any questions for me? I would say this to people. Any questions for me?
Stay beautiful.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's quite hard in this COVID period, do you know what I mean? Can't get your hair done anymore. Especially now, going out, you have to have that face mask thing though. Have you been wearing one? I'll look for a Louis Vuitton one. I was about to say that because I'm thinking you can't just be wearing the... I'm just joking. Now people will go crazy. So someone will say, I loved him, but then it did that. Why are you getting angry on what someone else wears? Just chill, man. Okay, so you know what to do. Like, subscribe, tell your friends. I have a hit list. Yeah, wow. I've got a hit list of people that I want to interview. Right. You was on the hit list. Wow. I can now tick that off my hit list. Wow. Thank you. And that is all from the ZEZE MILLS Show.